Welcome to the HitPause Podcast, where we watch and cover YouTube so you don't have to. We are the voice of reason for when you endlessly scroll on YouTube, like you do on Netflix, and don't know what to watch. We narrow that down for you, and we give you 2 or 3 refined and hand-picked videos to watch, as well as give you a listener's digest on everything we've covered. In a nutshell, we cover YouTubers, the YouTube platform, and the YouTube industry. And on top of that, any news, scandals, or updates on those 3 categories. Normally, this is hosted by 2 people, Iman and myself, but unfortunately today, Iman can't make it, so you get 100% David. Iman has done an episode on his own before. I think that was the YouTube Premium one. And yeah, so watch that, rewatch it if you watched it already, and let us know who does a better job solo. Okay, so today we have a bonus episode, and we're going to cover 2 things that have happened recently. The first one being the IGN kind of scandal where they plagiarized a review on YouTube. And the second thing will be the Alex Jones, the charismatic but not really liked guy that has been banned off YouTube and a lot of other streaming and video platforms. So today, let's kick it off. So starting off with IGN. Now, for those who may not have heard the IGN, YouTube channel, this is, I'm gonna guess it stands for Internet Gaming Network. Yeah, that's my best choice. I didn't do much research on the abbreviation, but basically, as the name I've given it kind of stands for, they cover a lot of the video game industry in terms of games that come out. They do reviews on them. They also do in-depth analysis. They showcase trailers for when the game's coming out. They also give videos and kind of one-to-ones with the developers of these games. So they're very in-house, but a big enough name that they can be considered a company. Now, they do own they do have loads of employees. That being said, so they're not a small YouTube group that we cover day to day with 4 people in a room doing silly stuff. They are a legit, private limited company, and they do have employees, probably an HR team and so on. Now, what they've done recently is a video game called Dead Cells. They basically did a review like they do with all their other videos, but in this case, they plagiarized is the word everyone's throwing out there, another smaller YouTuber's review of the same game. Now, side by side, they do seem very similar in length, similar in the script, as well as what they're showing. Now, I should say that video has been taken away, so IGN are fully aware of it. They've also given an apology as well. Now, we've seen a lot of apologies on YouTube. I gotta say, IGN kind of handled this pretty well. They took the video off immediately, of course. They sent out a tweet that basically said this does not resemble us as a company, as we would all do ourselves, as well as, kind of gave the guy the boot. So he got fired from IGN. Now, it's all about the people and how they take it, of course. So a lot of people kind of sided with IGN, which is rare because IGN, as a YouTube channel, are not very loved. They've been around for so long, and video game journalism has always been one of those, like we've covered in the Total Biscuit episode, as one that seems like it's dying or is less needed by everyone. Everyone seems to have their own sense of opinion that they don't really need video game journalism anymore. But IGN still stays strong with what they do, even with that low popularity. Now, with that being said, it's hard for them to get much love, but with this apology and action, people were quite happy. So what they did afterwards was made a version 2.0 review, where it was obviously done with, let's say, it was done on its own by another employee, of course, and was fair, to the point, clearly unique, and not plagiarized the second time running. Now, in the comment section, which I did check, a lot of people were saying that the ad revenue for that version 2.0 should go to the YouTuber they plagiarized it from. Now, that YouTuber has the channel called Boomstick Gaming, And yeah, no one really knows if any ad revenue went to him or them. But that channel that was plagiarized was a smaller YouTuber, which seems the David and Goliath of this whole story, that the bigger YouTuber steals from the smaller YouTuber, and on many occasions probably goes unnoticed. But in this case, Boomstick even made a video saying, "What should I do?" Basically saying that the bigger man has taken away from the smaller, and kind of needed some support. And this was probably flagged well enough by the community that it got noticed, and obviously IGN did something about it. Now, Boomstick have grown in subscriptions since that incident, which is good. It's good to see some good actually happen. They went from, I believe, 11,000 subs to 37 as of this recording. So that is good news. Obviously, it came with a bad incident for Boomstick to obviously get the popularity that it deserves, because their reviews are pretty good. So all in all, it's just IGN, and it's not to use them as an example for everyone else, but this does happen where big YouTubers just seem to get away with it. And it's good to see that there is some love and there's some strength in the community of YouTube to fight for the smaller ones. And I guess smaller ones is a word I should stop using, because he has grown, and that is good news for them. There is a bit of a thing going around on Kotaku, which is a website that is just very miscellaneous, but it does cover the gaming industry. And apparently the fired reviewer kind of said that it wasn't intentional. Now, he's probably looking for work elsewhere, and you're not going to go around on your CV like, yeah, I did that once. You're going to fight for your case, but at this point, maybe you should just let it go. It really seems similar. I know it's not out there for us to do an in-depth side-by-side, but for the time that it was, because I did get a little bit of it, it was kind of similar. So maybe you should just apologize and move on. Don't be in that corner. Everyone can see when someone's fighting for it. But hey, that's him. That's IGN in a nutshell. And Boomstick Gaming, well done. Hope your popularity brings on the start of new things. So that was the first bit of this episode. The second is covering Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones is kind of a difficult person to explain all in a bonus episode podcast. He is known to be a conspiracy theorist. He's got many views on the American politics, as well as the government and who's in charge and how things get passed. Basically, he's trying to be the voice of the people, as well as take out the big dogs that seem, immune to any wrongdoing that he believes they do. Now, he's a character that he's had his own radio show. Basically, he says a lot of things that a lot of people want some backing up, and a lot of things he also says are very inappropriate. And on many occasions, he's had strikes on YouTube. He's had videos taken down on Spotify. His radio segments, they've also been taken away, mainly because they just don't meet the guidelines, so to speak, that these streaming sites have put down. I don't want to go into any details because some of them are so bad, even this podcast could get taken down. But let's just say he says some inappropriate things about, homosexuality. He has some, racial slurs here and there. And it just comes out because he's a very erratic guy who just speaks from his mind. He's not, I mean, it's difficult to say if it's all intentional, but a guy with his influence should know better, which is the bigger issue here. Probably why a lot of people don't like Logan Paul, because of his influence. Whereas if a smaller YouTuber who has a smaller circumference of influence may have said the same thing, but is hated a lot less. So that's Alex Jones. He is definitely a wild card. and he's got a lot to say that not everyone wants to hear, but he does have a fan base. I'll give him that. Now, over several attempts, and he's been around for a long time, finally, he has been completely deplatformed, and that's banned from all platforms. Now, it's fair to say that he's done some good, in my opinion, and he's also done some bad. For example, the good, he's one of the first people to go after the Federal Reserve. Now, that's not easy, and it definitely takes a lot of guts, and sometimes you need that little push for the betterment of freedom of speech. But on the same time, he's done a lot of bad, which is very noticeable. He has a segment called InfoWars, where he's had a lot of guests on the panel. He even had Donald Trump at one point. But he says and puts out a lot of incorrect and there's no substance and fact to some of his opinions, that it's just like it's unnecessary to air it. For example, he just pointed out the entirely wrong person who he thought was responsible for the Parkland shooting. And stuff like that. It's just like, it doesn't matter if it's an opinion at the end of the day. It's just unacceptable. And for some reason, he's been allowed to do that for so long. And the time has come to a point where they've just shut him down. Now, being banned from all platforms is the reason why we're covering this, because YouTube, it takes them a while for them to like completely get rid of somebody. And the reason they've given, the same with Spotify and a lot of other sites as well, is that due to the continuous flagging and, strikes of the same misuse of the policy and the guidelines YouTube have offered to all creators, they've now decided to, part ways or basically kick him out. And you could say that that's not really fair, because on so many other occasions, videos are taken down, but the YouTuber remains. And there's no difference. Neither is anything being pointed out as to what in those videos are YouTube finding as inappropriate. Now, they've never given an example. They've just said, doesn't meet our guidelines, bye-bye. And that's where we have to be fair, that to Alex Jones' defense, it would be great for him, as well as other YouTubers not really sure if they would ever get taken down if they were to speak their mind, it's not really clear what YouTube finds acceptable or unacceptable. But we could all see with the naked eye that Alex Jones isn't really a YouTuber. Well, the YouTuber is not the word. Creator, video, entertainment, whatever you want to call him. That he's not trying to remain on a platform. Like, he's not trying to meet the guidelines. He's not on the wire or on the fence. He's just doing whatever he wants. So it is a bit unfair, but at the same time, he's not trying. So why should YouTube, you could say. And at the end of the day, it is YouTube's platform. They are not breaking the First Amendment because they are a private company, and they can just, as Philip DeFranco said in his video, they could take the microphone or the megaphone away from who they want. That person's free to speak their mind elsewhere, just not on YouTube. So that has happened. A lot of people are complaining as to, is that fair? Like, why him? A lot of people have said a lot worse, but still have their channels. It's just because Alex Jones happens to be popular. So yeah, you're right. It's not consistent from YouTube's point of view, but there are so many videos and an algorithm. We've never been happy with YouTube's algorithm. So if they're going to do it one by one, of course, they're going to start with the bigger YouTubers or YouTube channels. I should stop calling him a YouTuber. But yeah, that is a debate in itself. It's something to definitely ponder about as to, did YouTube handle this correctly? On that note, H3H3, which is also another YouTube channel we've covered before, they were doing a live stream podcast, probably, where they were talking about Alex Jones, and I think they showed a little bit of one of his rants or content in their live stream. And because YouTube found this, probably also in the heat of the moment, they took down and shut down the live stream. And yeah, I don't know if it was moments or a day later, they reinstated the video, obviously after H3's complaint. Now, it just shows that whenever something bad's happening, just like the Logan Paul incident, YouTube, probably to save their own skin, just go absolutely trigger happy and take down anything that resembles the problem. So you have Alex Jones in the title, that's probably gone. Probably not forever, and probably not now because it's days later. But on that very day, YouTube do not care. They will take it all down. Now, from a company standpoint, it's better to be safe and apologize later. But for everyone else, that is like the worst. Imagine your live stream taken down or a video demonetized just because you reference something and you're not even the person, you're not even the Alex Jones yourself saying anything inappropriate. You just reference somebody who did. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad from YouTube's defense. But this podcast, or at least me, will always be on both sides, or at least see both sides. And if I knew that I didn't have the algorithm to take stuff down, I'd rather be safe and take a lot down and apologize later than to leave it all online and realize you've let a lot of a can of worms out there on your own platform. But those are the two main things. I definitely encourage you to check Philip DeFranco's 6-minute bit on how he feels about Alex Jones. He definitely points out both sides as well. He's definitely not a fan. I'm in the middle. I think Alex Jones has definitely given us a lot of good. More in the front-facing and future side of things, that he might not be good himself, but his actions drive a lot more from, the bigger man, so we can test them when they feel comfortable with all the politics going on. When you kind of shake those in charge, they behave better. They get away with a lot less, and he is a driving factor of that. But on the same other hand, he is a very, he needs a PR guy. He needs someone to tell him, no, bad Alex. Shut up, Alex. Like, he needs that, because there's a lot of things he says that I don't agree with and definitely shouldn't belong on the internet with his kind of influence as well. Philip DeFranco definitely more on the come on, Alex. But there are a couple fans who have put up some good videos. One that I'll link, which is from Ashton Birdie. I think she's definitely a smart girl. I think she might be a student or something like that. She goes in and gives some analysis as to why she believes Alex Jones shouldn't be taken down because of the freedom of speech. But I will reinstate that taking Alex Jones down is not breaking the freedom of speech, because this is a private platform. It's not like a news company, stopping him, or he's giving a protest, rightfully so, and he's been taken down by the police. This isn't him verbally doing it in public. This is on a private platform that YouTube, at the end of the day, can say, no, we don't really want it, versus, he doesn't deserve to be here. So, yeah, those are both sides of the spectrum. So I'll link both those videos for you to kind of get your thoughts on it. If you think he should stay, or if you think it's just totally unacceptable. It's one of those cases where you have to either be emotional about some of the stuff he says is really offensive to a lot of people, about transgenders. There's a lot of things he says that will hit a demographic, and there's that point, and there's also just the professional side of, but what exactly is he breaching? At what point is it too far to say something offensive? That thing that we need to figure out. If it's say nothing offensive at all, then that should be the rule, rather than having a if and when and maybes. But definitely pick both those videos and find out where you sit. For me, it's probably okay that he's gone. I mean, we'll all be fine. YouTube definitely will be fine without him. I'm sure he can have his own website and do what he wants, but on YouTube, I'm happy with the decision. So those are the two things, IGN and Boomstick Gaming, as well as this Alex Jones incident. Don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, all those podcast apps. And you can follow me, So Not David, or Iman, who's not here, who also is not really a fan of Alex Jones. Tweet at him and tell him why you agree or why you disagree. That's at Glyphics on Twitter. But yeah, thanks guys, and we'll see you in the next podcast where hopefully we're both back. See ya.